being like a dear friend from Gregory's youth, and that was like a whole situation. So there was
it was totally a fine situation. It
not
went
a problem
exactly.
at all.
It was Trundo, right?
It was Trundo, yeah.
Yeah.
Gregory's dear old friend Trundo. So that was
We
session
all
39
love
was
Trumpet.
Trundo showing up. Session 40 was the Weeds of Wonder Festival, where
that was with Radish.
that was with Radish. That was the return of Radish. And then last week, session 41 was an important Hazel episode because her old teacher, the elder from her village, came down, and there were emotions.
Emotions.
So there were lots of emotions.
We love emotions.
I love
emotions. So yeah, busy 3 weeks, all in the aftermath of Tower Town's rebirth revival. So, but actually, speaking of big emotions, oh my goodness, I'm so excited! Hello, everybody! Hi, audience!
Hi, internet! Welcome! Yeah, you were just hearing a quick informal recap of the past couple weeks. This is Knights of Prospect, a fully improvised role-playing game using the Powered by the Apocalypse system. Even our GM is making things up as he goes. Pretty cool. And the person doing all of the technical wizardry you're about to see is one Mr. Matt Fear. So please give him some love in the chat. Or in the comments. You can, whenever you're listening to this, please just give him some love. I am Whitney Hawkins. I play Hazel Pippet, who is a friendly halfling druid from the Great Mountain. She is just figuring out life. She is a young woman just figuring stuff out and is super short. Yeah, that's Hazel.
all the salient bullet points right there.
And she turns into a bear sometimes. Yep.
It's a great summary. I think that really just covers her. My name is Kaylee Kane, and I will be playing Vil, who is an elf. Vil is an archer. Vil is a ranger. Vil is more recently a forest revenant post death and rebirth. Best friend is Hobie the duck, and I think that's it.
Who is currently the mayor of a town.
Oh yeah, Hobie's away. Sorry everybody, Hobie is not with us currently. He's busy with his mayoral duties. He had to stay and be the mayor of another town because we were taking the mayor away for a little while. So Hobie's just a big help. That's really what he's all about.
I heard he's done a great job. I heard he's really turned things around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's news that's filtering back that Hobie the Duck is doing a great job as acting mayor.
It's because he's extremely responsible. He is kind-hearted, and he's wise. He's wise beyond measure, I think. That's how I see him.
He's armed now, too. He has a little hatchet.
Yeah. He has a tiny hatchet, tiny duck-sized hatchet. And also, didn't someone give him sunglasses? Who gave Hobie sunglasses? Was it you, Sam? I think it was.
I don't think so.
Somebody.
At this point, Hobie has an inventory that Hobie's got to keep track of.
People keep giving him things because he's a lovable creature.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I did. I remember it happening.
Mm-hmm.
It was the collective brain of our cast. Hi, I'm Sam Levangie. I play Winnie. She is an elven bard. She's chronicling the adventures of this group. She helped slay a giant octopus. She has mixed magic with Hazel, and it was delightful. And she uses her her musicality to bring people together and tear eardrums apart.
Hell yeah.
Sounds
Beautiful.
pretty cool. And I'm John Serpico. I am the game master, and it's my job I have a few different jobs. One, the big one, is it's my job to make sure that all the players have stuff to do. I want to ask them questions, and their answers, combined with their dice rolls, will shape this world in real time. Virtually everything you're going to hear, except for a little speech I have at the beginning, is totally improvised. And so, based on what everyone wants is the world that we get to build. Another thing that I get to do is I get to provide incredibly brief recaps to welcome new folks. So, hello, everyone. This is episode 42 of Knights of Prospect. If you are watching for the first time live on Twitch, this is a great episode to start with because you're going to get to meet 3 great characters. And you don't need to worry too much about what happened because I'm going to sum it all up in a sentence or two. Mm-hmm. You are looking at everyone. Here's the summary. You are looking at, everyone, 3 of the famed Knights of Prospect. The Knights of Prospect are an order of knights, a benevolent order that has been headquartered in Tower Town for centuries. They protect all of the Riverlands. To be invited to join the Knights of Prospect, the honor of a lifetime. All of the people you see on screen are members of the Knights of Prospect. They have done great deeds to join the Knights of Prospect, and they are continuing to do great deeds now that they're in the Knights of Prospect. So the big thing that they did recently was they defended Tower Town from a military dictator. They destroyed a military dictator and a military dictatorship, and they destroyed a giant, terrifying octopus that wrecked a lot of Tower Town. So in the last few weeks, they've been going on adventures to help rebuild Tower Town and also to make sure that the Riverlands are safe. So that's the story. This is going to be one of those very fun adventures where they're making sure that the Riverlands are safe. The one last thing that I have to do is explain the rules of the game, or rather the mechanics of the game. We are using a system called Powered by the Apocalypse, which means every so often I'm going to ask the players to roll some dice. If they roll a 2 6-sided dice specifically, if they roll a 10 or higher, they get exactly what they want. If they roll a 7 to 9, those are some dice right there. If they roll a 7 to 9, we'll show off some dice. Those are all cool dice. So 10 plus, they get what they want. 7 to 9, they get a little of what they want, or they have to make a tough choice. On a 6 or less, they don't get what they want. But no matter what happens, the story moves forward when the dice get rolled. So that's a good thing. And that's the story, really. I think our fans, both new and old, know everything they need to. If, folks, you are watching for the first time and you want to catch up on past episodes, you can go ahead and go to YouTube and look up Knights of Prospect there. We have all of our episodes archived. Or you can head over to wherever you get your podcasts and look up Knights of Prospect. I believe our first 30 episodes are archived there, and one more is popping up every week. And so join the hundreds that are listening as a podcast. That's very fun.
I actually just went back and listened to, I had never heard the episode with the charcuterie gnome before. Can you believe that? I totally missed the charcuterie gnome, and I went back and listened to that episode. It was a delight.
It was joyful. It was
so
a happy
joyful.
Festival episode.
Yeah, we love a happy festival episode.
Mm-hmm.
That one's sweet. And lots of poop jokes too in that one.
Yeah, it was nice. Well, Raz was on, so you can expect a certain threshold.
But all right, so we will see how happy and festival-like this episode will be. My guess, it will be extremely. But who knows? We'll find out. The dice will tell us. So, all right, Hazel, Vil, and Winnie, let's get started. All right. Here's the part that I've prepared ahead of time. A masked rider trots his horse up to the outskirts of a small town. He removes a small crystal from a pouch around his neck and speaks into it. I've approached Belle Plaine. It is as expected. I will note what I've learned again in 1 hour. And he puts the crystal away. He takes his mask off and casts a spell over it, and then puts it back on. He then takes a length of heavy fabric and starts wrapping that around his mask. And then on top of that, he puts a pair of goggles and keeps wrapping the fabric. And then on top of that, he puts this big heavy hat on. He's wearing this huge, like, oil slicked coat. And he looks like he's just as protected as someone could possibly be. He rides into the town looking through these goggles of his. There are bodies everywhere. Slumped over tables in the town square, leaning against the walls of homes, collapsed by the small lake with fishing rods still in their hands. The rider dismounts his horse near a large building and kneels down. He begins scooping up some dirt into a glass jar, when all of a sudden he looks up as if he's heard something. He then starts swatting his hands at something in front of his face, though there's nothing there. And then his eyes go wide in his goggles. He pulls out the crystal and starts speaking very quickly. "It's still active! It's still here and active! And I can't..." And then he falls silent. He becomes another body lying in Belle Plaine. All right. Winnie, your sister Lena has reached out and requested a very secret meeting with you. Specifically in your formal capacity as a Knight of Prospect, which means that she might be in some kind of trouble, because she essentially asked you to bring Vil and Hazel as well. She said that this formal meeting could not be in Tower Town, your home, or in the town of Buyer's Remorse, which is her home, for sake of secrecy. So the big question is, where are you meeting?
Oh gosh. So there's this little hut that we came by on one of our adventures previously, and it was this house that initially looked like it was crumbling, like it had been long abandoned, but in fact is, for those in the know, quite well maintained. It is the Crumbling Cabin.
The Crumbling Cabin. That's perfect. It sits on a minor trade road between Tower Town and one of the other grand city-states of the Riverlands. But there's a newer, more direct road that most people go to now. So it's almost like this is a scenic route, which makes the Crumbling Cabin really a perfect place for clandestine meetings. In point of fact, Jelly, the thief in the Knights of Prospect, meets people there all the time because it's this kind of public secret place. So you're all there at the Crumbling Cabin. And as a reminder to you and to the audience, you're there to meet Lena, who is Winnie's sister. And Lena runs a very highly regarded organization that scours the Riverlands for rare and unique plants, herbs, chemicals, and various other components. They're called the Silent Gatherers. That's her organization. And she herself is called the Silent Gatherer. And the Silent Gatherers will work with anyone that pays. And that's their deal. They will sell herbs and chemicals and anything else to anybody. And you all know this because her two biggest clients right now are the government of Tower Town and also Yava, a dark elf that may or may not be silently building an empire. So that's keeping the Silent Gatherers very busy. But that's the story behind Lena. So the three of you are sitting in the Crumbling Cabin waiting for Lena to show up. So we'll start there.
This is well maintained.
Yes, it's a popular stop along this trade route.
Oh, thanks for joining me. I apologize in advance if there's some lingering tension between my sister and I. I think it's resolved, but you never know when you steal your sister's voice. There's lingering anything. But I'll handle it. I promise.
Okay. Do you expect that she might try to battle you?
No.
Oh.
No.
No.
It'll be fine.
Okay. So
Do
this
you
is
think
more of
she's
a-
gonna call you a bunch of mean names in your voice, like your old voice? That would really get in my head.
Maybe, I don't know, but she's here seeking our help, so I'm just very eager to get on her good side, I guess.
Well, I'm certainly happy to help you, Winnie. I'm not sure how happy I am to help the Silent Gatherers.
I still think that name makes them sound like squirrels.
It does. You're not wrong.
Squirrels are not talkative. They're real quiet.
And they gather a lot.
Yeah, and they gather. That's their whole shtick.
Yeah.
Oh, I did bring. I brought snacks. Are any of you hungry? I have these spider chocolates. They're not made of real. They're just shaped like spiders.
Either way, that's fine with me.
Yes, I'm fine either way as well. Happy to eat a spider or chocolate. Thank you.
Great. Here we go. She's late.
She normally late?
No.
Ooh.
Do you think she might be trying to enter with magic? You can't enter the cabin with magic.
No. I told her how to enter. I let her know that she just needs to look like she's kind of nonchalantly leaning against the wall, and eventually it'll kind of absorb her.
At around this moment, there's a big thunderous crash from the wall behind you. And you all turn around, and there is an elf wearing nice clothes, looks remarkably like Winnie, scrambling to her feet. What does lean nonchalantly mean? You know, it has...
She sounds exactly like how you used to sound. That's amazing.
Yes. I nonchalantly, like you don't have a care in the world.
Well, Winnie, I have many cares. That's why I'm pleading with the Knights of Prospect for help.
Sure.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Lena.
She gives you a hug.
I whispered to Vil. There's not much tension. I'm relieved.
I don't know how to tell, but I'll take your word for it.
Hazel, Vil, thank you both for coming as well.
Vil is my name, and you've said it already, so you know my name, and it's nice to meet you. Lena, I know your name as well.
That's right. Well,
how was
Hello?
your trip?
I'm sorry I brought up the weird stuff with your sister earlier.
Yes, we know all about it.
Well,
yeah.
It's a delight
Part of
to
my
see that
story.
there isn't much tension.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Our journey was just fine.
As was mine. Well, I will get right to it, though. Catching up is, of course, lovely.
Yes.
So, a new client has approached the Silent Gatherers, and as you know, I'm not really taking new clients because Tower Town and Yava are my two biggest clients, and you all, Tower Town and Yava, take up most of my attention. But this buyer approached me. They work for an organization called the Green Bridge. And these people at the Green Bridge were willing to pay nearly double the going rates for healing herbs in bulk. They always paid prior to delivery. And this has all been well and good for several months. But about a week ago, the buyer returned and asked if they could add something to their order going forward. Weeping Twistroot. Vil, what is Weeping Twistroot?
Weeping Twistroot is a rare root, and it has medicinal properties, but it's extremely temperamental, very difficult to use, very difficult to work with, and when done incorrectly, or for some people correctly, it can have disastrous results and be extremely dangerous to the health of most creatures.
Lena explains all of this, and Vil, you're taking it all in, and the quantities that Lena is talking about are kind of staggering to think about. Like you've traveled the Riverlands. This stuff is hard to get, and even when you get it, it's not in great quantities. So this.
What I don't understand is it's an extremely rare root, and anything that it can be used for medicinally, there is an alternative root or plant that could be used that would be much easier to find and much less expensive to pay. The only reason someone would be wanting that root specifically is alternative uses.
And this is why I wanted Vil here. And Vil, thank you for coming. That's exactly my concern. A well-funded organization wants a root where there are many safer alternatives if you're using it for medicine. And while the Silent Gatherers very publicly will work with anyone, something about this arrangement kind of rubs me the wrong way. And so I wanted you to do a little research. Who are the Green Bridge? What do they do? What do they want?
That's very noble, and you're making your squirrel namesakes proud.
I'm not saying that we won't help you, but I do want to acknowledge that I am your sister. And if these people catch us snooping around, it's not that hard to make the connection if I know what's happening, where I may have got that information.
True.
Winnie, are you suggesting a disguise?
I hadn't got that far, but a disguise might work. It was... we had mixed results, I think, the last time we used a disguise.
When somebody died, yes.
But
we did have a good time before we killed one of our own.
We did. I mean, I think that, Lena, I have not always kept your safety at the top of my mind, which is the only reason I'm bringing it up now, which is that I don't want to put you or your business at jeopardy by investigating this. But Vil, if you want to put on a disguise, I think that could work. That could get us, away from tipping the, what was it? The Green Bridge?
Green Bridge.
Off?
The Green Bridge.
Well, I have to say, Lena, I think I've known you long enough now, a couple minutes to speak plainly. And the plain that I would like to speak is that I have not much respect for the Silent Gatherers. I don't like a code that values profit over all else. I've seen what that can do. Sorry, I got distracted. But it sounds like you're doing the right thing now. And also, I think it would be fun to put Winnie in a disguise again.
Agreed.
Those are all my thoughts.
Well, Vil, that's the other reason that I asked for you by name.
Because it would be fun to put Winnie in a disguise.
Well, I suppose that's an added benefit now that we're here.
I see.
But in actuality, it's because you don't agree with our business. I didn't want any of you to think you were doing this as a favor for Winnie's sister.
I don't do that kind of thing.
Anyone that wants this volume of something like this is, well, if they're using it in the ways that Vil, you suspect they are, they would be a danger to a lot of people.
Yes.
No favors here. This is me dropping a tip to the protectors of the realm, is all.
Of course, Lena. I don't do favors for anyone I don't trust, and I don't trust anyone. So, I am ready to go. Hazel?
I'm in.
Winnie?
Oh, well, let's go. I haven't tried out a new accent or anything in a while.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
All right. So you're off on a quest to find some kind of society that wants boatloads and boatloads of poison. So
serious quest. Serious, maybe dangerous quest. One disguise. That's all the silliness we'll have around here.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what is your approach to finding them? How do you want to find them? Is this asking people, going to your contacts, looking at a map, consulting divine spirits? Literally any approach is fine, but what do you want to do?
Well, how does Lena contact them?
So they contact her, and she delivers all of the supplies, all the herbs and stuff she's been delivering has been delivered to the outskirts of a small town that you have never heard of. A place called Belle Plaine.
Belle Plaine.
Well, since we've already brought up Silent Gatherers, I'm going to go to the Noble Squirrel and see what they know.
The Noble Squirrel. Now, is this an actual squirrel? Is this the Silent Gatherers themselves? Is this a tavern? There are many noble squirrels.
This is an actual squirrel.
Oh.
About this big, bushy tail. Most people know that they gather acorns and nuts. They also are supreme gatherers of information.
Ah, that's right. So you're talking to an honest-to-goodness squirrel, because as a druid, you can do that. Sure. So Hazel, let's have you. So you don't need to roll to speak to squirrels, but I would love for you to roll 2d6 plus charisma, because we're going to determine what kind of squirrel you're dealing with.
5.
All right.
So it's going to be a pain in the butt squirrel.
Not the top brass.
It is a pain in the butt squirrel. But Hazel, I'm going to give you a choice. Is this squirrel a jerk? Does this squirrel want a bunch of stuff? Or does this squirrel know everything but it's bad news?
Oh boy. I'm going to say squirrel's a jerk.
Gotcha. And what's the squirrel's name?
Vince.
I was going to ask for a description, but I think Vince is enough of one for me. So you kind of travel, like you start heading towards the direction of where you think Belle Plaine is. Like Lena wishes you luck and kind of points out on a map where the shipments go. And so you go and so you start, getting into that area. And you call down squirrels. You kind of ask for a representative. And Vince pops down from a tree. Hey, how you kids doing?
Hi there. We are looking for a group of people called the Green Bridge. Do you know anybody like that?
Hey, I don't know nothing about nothing, I know a lot of humans and elves, halflings like you have all kinds of silly names for stuff.
So, but do you know that particular organization? It would really help us. We're trying to do some good, just like you, a noble squirrel.
Noble? Well, isn't that nice to hear? Hey, Mike, did you hear that? They called me noble. Hey!
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 I like that.
Hazel, what's he saying?
Hey!
Oh. Okay.
Hey!
Hey! It's
And
fun.
try to mimic the noise that the squirrel is making.
Hey.
Oh!
Oh no, he didn't like that. He didn't like it, Phil.
Sorry.
Don't do that anymore.
Apologies.
My mother's a saint.
Oh, you disrespected his mama.
I don't even know her.
Oh, sorry, she didn't mean it. She doesn't speak squirrel.
The Green Bridge, okay? Yeah. Despite the disparaging things that were said, I can tell you that yes, I have heard of the Green Bridge.
All right, can you tell us where they are?
I can. They are a group of elves that choose not to live in the forest. They have decided to build a little tent city on a hill 2 days that way on your slow bipedal legs.
We are real slow. Yeah. Can you tell us anything else about them?
All right. So this is going to be an important role. I need whoever's feeling lucky to just roll 2d6 plus 2d6 plus wisdom. Whoever's feeling lucky. On a 10 plus.
I was going to say Hazel and Vil, each of you roll 1.
All right.
On a 10 plus, Vince is going to tell you some good news. On 7 to 9, Vince is going to tell you some complicated news. And on a 6 or less, Vince is going to tell you some very bad news.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Here's that big roll. Yeah.
Oh no, I
About
rolled
right.
a 2.
It's a 1
Oh,
over here.
Ugh.
1.
I feel like this is one of these inflection points
Yeah.
where things could have been great. This is no one's fault. Vince gets very somber. Yeah. The Green Bridge, they are a complicated folk. They are new to the area. They come from the east. And they arrived on the hills outside of this town, this human town. And within a few days, everyone in the town started getting very sleepy, and they started taking naps, and eventually they decided to not wake up anymore. So currently, there is a hill full of elves looking down on a town full of humans, and all the humans, they are asleep. And that is very unfortunate for the humans, because humans, like squirrels, like to sleep, but they also need to eat and drink.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
What's happening? What's he saying?
Yeah, what?
yeah, everybody in the town's asleep. Because of the Green Bridge, to the point where they might die.
Okay. Should we eat
What
the
is-
squirrel?
Oh, don't eat him.
Okay. Don't tell him I said that then. For sure.
So, I won't. He already doesn't like you.
Was the elf over there offering me some kind of gift as a thank you for my knowledge?
Oh yeah, she's gonna give you a whole sack of nuts.
Oh, my
how
ground
about
nuts.
that?
He wants my ground nuts?
Yeah.
Yes,
You got
all
a whole
right.
sack of ground nuts coming your way.
I
That is
always
one of
have
my favorite
ground nuts.
things. Fun fact, they used to be in trees. We call them tree nuts. They hit the ground, they're ground nuts.
Isn't
Yes.
that
I'll
funny?
take any.
Things are always changing.
Yes, indeed. Life is a rich tapestry, my new friend. Thank you very much.
Here you are, sir.
So,
Oh,
Enjoy my
boy.
ground nuts.
oh, it's so cute.
And
So you
yeah,
said
vi-
2
savor
days
them at
that
all.
way?
2 days that way. I could probably get there faster because I am a squirrel. But 2 days for you. Good luck.
All right. Say hello to your mother for me.
Isabel is a saint. She will love to hear this.
I'm sure she is.
All right, you be safe out there.
Bye.
And yeah, Vince and his friend Mike and a bunch of other squirrels gather around, eat some ground nuts. And yeah, so apparently the Green Bridge are a group of elves that poisoned a town.
Well, it seems there's no time to waste then. It's my understanding that humans are rather fragile. Why don't we set out?
All right, I can use the travel time to work on my disguise.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
we can
excellent.
workshop your accent, too.
Sure.
If we
I-
see any good pieces along the way, sort of like branches that look like antlers or perhaps
Uh-huh.
extremely spreadable mud, all of that would be very helpful.
A hook.
A hook, yes. Yes.
This is a very fruitful part of the Riverlands.
Hmm.
You've got twigs, you've got leaves, you've got spreadable mud, you've got hooks, plenty of hooks.
Winnie, would you like to be sort of a mud man, or are you looking for a different sort of costume? That's kind of my specialty, but I am happy to be flexible.
You know, I just feel like you do Mudman better than I ever could. You know,
I've been told I am known for my Mudman impression, but I understand if you want to forge your own way. So you could be sort of a berry lass, or you could be a
fish girl.
You could be a fish girl. Yes,
girl.
Yeah, a little risky, but I'm ready to see it.
Yeah, you know, I've always felt like my inner being is really like tuned into fish.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
you got a real fish vibe.
Yes, I can see that.
Sure.
What kind of vibe do I have?
Badger.
That is the meanest thing you've ever said to me, Hazel.
They're not bad. I know you don't like them. I was just being honest.
Horrible little creatures.
They're very
Bill, I've
tenacious.
always kind of thought of a vole when I look at you.
Something like bigger than you expect it to be and like real hairy.
Okay. Thank you all. You've given me a lot to think about. I think we should make camp for the night.
And you set camp. Actually, Vil, let's have you. I need a couple of rolls here. Winnie, I'd love if you rolled 2d6 plus dexterity. Hazel, you can help if you want to craft this disguise. And Vil, I would love if you could roll 2d6 plus wisdom. And this is kind of, Vil, your roll's kind of a blanket roll of moving quickly, moving quietly, keeping attention off yourself along the roads. So let's start with Hazel's roll. Hazel, what did you get?
I have 9.
All right, fantastic. So, Winnie, what that means is you're going to add +1 to whatever you rolled for your disguise, so long as Hazel describes how she is helping.
Well, Bill's using a lot of poultices for it, so I'm really grinding them up. And also profusely trying to backpedal with Bill about what I meant about her being big and hairy.
Indeed, yeah, I'd say that qualifies. That's some good, solid help. So
You don't want to disguise angry. It's not good for anybody.
mhm. So Winnie, with Hazel's +1, what did you get on your disguise roll?
That would bring me up to a 9.
All right. So let's. So I'll put it to this. I'm going to have you describe the whole thing. So describe what your new fish-like persona looks like, and tell me what its drawback is.
Sure. So I use these poultices to adhere scales from a fish to like my face, just like the outer edges, and I ensure that like we're there's like a stream nearby. I catch a fish, and the guts I make sure to just kind of like get the essence of it in my purse, so that I'm like just like effusive, like just guts, fish guts are my essence.
Yeah, Winnie just smells incredibly strong right now.
Sure, and then at the end of my braid, I pin a fish tail, and I try to kind of make my clothing a little more like not aerodynamic, because it's like water, but like water dynamic. Is there a word for that? Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so yeah, and just feeling this like fish persona in my body. I feel like it's very face forward, and horizontal in a way that I'm typically not. I'm vertical as a human, but yeah, I just I feel this fish person in my body, in my bones, and that is how I craft it.
Yeah. Word of advice too, Winnie, you should probably speak in a sort of fishy voice. You should have a sort of fishy tone to sort of your tone voice.
Little fishy, like
perfect.
This.
Yeah,
okay.
Really good.
Yeah.
Hazel, does that sound great
That's
to you?
perfect. That's exactly what fish sound like.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well,
what is the drawback? Is it the general rotting fish guts smell, or is it something else?
I think that's it. I think
that is
the rotting fish. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to get more pungent. So
Yeah.
you kind of put all this together. You're ready to go as you start approaching Belle Plaine. So Vil, your role in terms of how sneakily and safely you get there is important. So what did you get?
Well, to be honest, I'm a little distracted. I've never been upset with Hazel before, so I'm trying to really get over that, that hill, be understanding of everyone's point of view on my, similarities to horrible little forest creatures. But I did roll a 7 total.
7 total. Okay. So I will. So here's how it'll be. You can have a choice. You can approach the Greenbridge camp unobserved until you get there, or you can make it into the village unobserved. So you can kind of explore one of the two places, but not both.
I see.
Before they kind of find you and see what's up.
I think for the sake of the people who are currently at risk in this situation, being the hopefully sleeping humans, I think that we ought to go down into the village as quickly as possible. Gotcha.
So you all head into the village, and it's the village is not a defensible place. I mean, a lot of towns are built into the crook of a river, built on a hilltop. This is just kind of built into a kind of a long sweeping plain, a lot of farmland around it. There's random trees everywhere. It's not like a fortress town. It's just a relatively small, pleasant town. There's some feral cats in the area. They seem nice. And you start approaching the outskirts of town. You see it's fairly broad town, a couple of big churches in it, some really large building in the middle. And then you all see, kind of on a hill nearby, a cluster of tents. And you kind of look and you say, okay, that's definitely the Green Bridge up there. Mm-hmm. And you see they built like a watchtower, which is not something elves tend to build, because elves don't generally build camps on naked hilltops. But yeah, there's like an elven position. Yeah, there's an elven watchtower up there, and you see people up there. So you realize if you approach that, like, there's no way you can get up there without being seen. But into the village you can get. And so, Hazel, as you approach, the ground. Now, not only can you speak to animals, you can speak to the earth itself. And normally the earth doesn't talk unless you address the earth, and then the earth kind of wakes up. But the earth is actively communicating with anyone that will listen right now, which is strange. And you just hear it saying, "Oh, no, no, oh, no."
What's going on, friend?
Ah, a druid that can hear.
Sure can. You don't sound happy.
No. There is an infusion of strange energy in the grounds.
Uh-oh.
If you come closer, it will affect you as well.
Come closer to the ground or closer to the town?
The town. The ground under the town.
Town ground.
The town ground.
Sure.
The shape is roughly round.
Round. The round town ground.
The round ground on which sits the town.
Mm-hmm. I'm down. Mm-hmm. So, tell me more about the strange energy.
Well, it makes me frown.
Oh, boy. So now we're frowning down on the town round ground?
It's round, and everything here makes me frown.
All right, friends.
Yes.
We got a frowny round ground in this town. And we're feeling down.
Well, should we go around the town?
Oh, what if we go around the round town ground?
Should you round the round town, I don't think its magic will get you down. But should you want to explore the town?
Hazel, is it only the ground that's being affected, or if we were to say not touch the ground, would we be safe?
Ooh.
What about the water?
Right. All right. What if we don't touch the ground?
Ah. That's profound.
Yeah, it was a real good idea.
Yeah, this ground lets you know that there's some kind of magical or chemical poison in it. But if you stay in the water, because there is like a lake nearby, or if you find a way to stay on rooftops or something, you could conceivably get through the town. You just have... the ground is poison. Stay off the ground, you'll be okay.
Understood. In the town...
Right, well, this calls for Fish Girl, right?
Are you going to go through the water?
Oh, yeah.
I thought perhaps I would go through a tree. Hazel, maybe you could go through the air.
All right.
Oh.
I could do that. Or I could stay with Winnie as a beaver.
You could be in the water with me.
You could have a beaver sidekick. Let's do that.
Right. By the way, call me Wanda.
Wanda, that's a great name for a fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Wanda and Hazel, do you want me to come with you in the water, or should I try to get to the center?
Go with your strengths. I think that we can go from 2 angles, and that way if something happens to one of us, then we're not all out.
All right. Should we have some sort of signal? Like maybe if something bad is happening, sort of scream as loud as you can?
I'll slap my tail.
Oh, great. Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
I will slap something. I'll slap whatever's around.
Yeah, or clap.
Yes, slap my own hand. Yes, perfect. I'll clap my hands loudly.
Perfect.
So
What are you going to slap, Wanda?
Well, oh gosh. I will slap the water with my whole body.
Oh, yes. Excellent. That should make a nice
sound.
loud sound. Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
All right.
Stay safe
so
then.
You have a communication plan, and Hazel, you turn into a beaver. So that's the only thing that we need to roll before we explore the town. So give me 2d6 plus your wisdom for your shapeshifter ability.
9.
All right, fantastic. So you turn into a beaver, and as always, please describe that for everybody.
All right, the ground sort of swells up around me and covers my whole body, and then whooshes down to reveal I'm a little beaver with some horns.
Yes, and there you are, and you can do 3 things off your list of beaver-related things to do before you have to revert back. So Wanda the fish, Hazel the beaver, and Vil the forest revenant all kind of make their way you all make your way into the town in your own way. So Vil, you're able to kind of shift through the trees. As a forest revenant, you can step into one tree and emerge from another. Whereas Wanda and Hazel, the two of you take the water route.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna
you're
try
all
very hard. Remember that one time that I called on the fish using fish music, and they carried me twice? Those 2 times. I'm gonna try it.
It is truly remarkable that Winnie, a bard, has this kind of fan base amongst fish.
They
But
love
it
her.
works every time. It works every time, it seems.
It
So
was my first audience. I first ever sang to a group of fish in the river before I had the courage to sing to anyone in real life.
all right, so let's have you roll 2d6 plus your charisma for your arcane art, and tell me what you get.
7.
And yet again, shocking all of those, specifically you two who are observing, the fish respond to Winnie, who in this case is Wanda. And so Hazel's able to make it through the water very easily as a beaver, but you Winnie, as Wanda, are immediately helped by fish who kind of guide you through, and you all, the two of you kind of get to the shore of the town. And Vil, you kind of move through trees until you're in a tree that overlooks the town. And so
Yes.
all of you are observing. And in point of fact, here's how this is going to work. Because you all got there, I'm going to give each of you a question from the Discern Realities list. So normally I'd make you roll, but the fact that you got into this town in and of itself is, I think, all the rolling we need to do. So each of you get a question from the list that I will answer in complete honesty.
All right. My question is, What should I be on the lookout for?
At some point, the Green Bridge is going to do whatever their next step to this town is, and you don't know if it will be right now, but you think it's going to be soon.
What here is useful?
That guy. There is so everyone here is wearing fairly similar garb, just normal working clothes. The fishermen are dressed like fishermen. The cobbler is dressed like a cobbler. But there is someone here that looks entirely out of place. He's wearing layers upon layers of what look like protective clothing. And he's maybe 20 feet away. He's on land, but he's 20 feet away. And he's covered in protective gear, carrying equipment, all various equipment. So that looks pretty useful.
And what is about to happen?
What is about to happen, and this will be an extension of Vill's question. I'll kind of give you part two. The Green Bridge are currently preparing a ritual in their camp. A ritual that is targeting this town. The ritual will be completed probably in the next hour.
I am going to take my rope that has a snare tied at the end of it and see if I can hook any part of that useful human nearby. Perhaps an ankle, and I could drag him up the tree.
Okay.
And while she's doing this, I want to try to find the nearest body and drag it into the river and see if something happens.
Absolutely. I'm going to have each of you roll 2d6 plus dexterity. You're going to do it. Both of you are going to do it. It's just a question of whether or not the news is good or bad when you do.
$11.
All right, fantastic. Bill?
6.
Okay. Wanda, we're going to start with you. There's one of the fishermen here. You in point of fact thought she was awake because, she was kind of sitting cross-legged, fishing pole in her hand, like net leaning against her shoulder. But you realize that she had just fallen stone cold asleep, sitting up. And so you kind of reach out and grab her and drag her into the water. And she wakes up. And she is incredibly thirsty.
I start splashing her with water.
No, it's all right.
Are you okay?
Well, yes. So why am I in the lake? I'm in the lake.
You
Is
were
Beaver looking
sleeping.
at me?
Yes, she is.
You're a beaver and you're some
start
kind of...
dabbing her forehead with water.
Thank you, beaver and fish woman. What is that? She turns around and looks at the town. Are
It's
they
not
dead?
good. You weren't, so I'm gonna say no.
I'm giving her a
But-
temple massage.
Hazel, give me 2d6 plus charisma.
Is she creeped out or does she like it?
Oh, no. She does not like that.
This is the weirdest dream this woman has ever had. There's literally like a beaver, like making meaningful eye contact and there's a fish woman that's saying that her whole town has fallen asleep, and she doesn't know what to do with all of this. I don't. What? If you know you're dreaming, can you do anything? I'm going to try to run on the lake. And she ends up like tripping and falling into the lake, and you have to pull her out.
Just stay in the water. But if you can go along the shore and find if anyone else was like touching the water or near the water, pull them in. Okay?
Okay. So mercifully for this woman that is having just a wild grasp with reality after sleeping for like 2.5 days, giving her a task was a very important thing. And so you end up, like she ends up getting like 3 or 4 people into the water and starts waking them up, and suddenly, Wanda, you're in charge of rehydrating these people. Vil, you end up, kind of lassoing this person that's wearing almost like a giant, like leather diving bell looking thing.
Yes.
And you like leverage and you hoist and you kind of winch this guy up a tree. And you kind of winch and hoist him up a tree. And you, once he gets up there, he kind of shakes himself awake. He kind of pulls a bunch of stuff. It's an elf.
It's a human.
Oh no, he's an elf too.
Oh, I thought just he was being rude. I'm sorry. Hello.
No, he looks at you and he. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, he literally. Yeah, he. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, that's an elf too.
Hello.
Hello.
You have been asleep and you are in a tree now. My name is Vil. Hello.
I'm Tanatar. I'm one of Yava's rangers.
Yava's rangers? You're with Yava?
Yes. I came here because we lost touch with everyone in Belle Plaine.
Yava has been in touch with Belle Plaine.
Yes, we're trying to swing them to our cause. At least we were until they stopped responding to our missives and letters. I was sent to investigate.
And what is this cause that Yava and you are working towards?
Yava's working towards the cause. I just believe in Yava. The cause of unity.
Unity.
Between the deep elves that left the surface world behind and the elves like you that remain above ground. The great schism that tore our people apart a generation ago. Yava wants to re-knit the fabric stronger than before.
Okay, I'm sorry. What is your name?
Tanatar.
Tanatar. Okay, I don't think we have time to get into this now. I think I'd like to hear more about the unity that Yava has planned, and I think it would be best if you accompanied me back to Tower Town after we're done cleaning up this village and waking everyone up.
They'll roll 2d6 plus your charisma.
Oh no. Why do I have to charisma this person, this Tanatar?
Because it's fun.
I do not charisma him. That is a 4.
Oh, this is perfect for Tanatar. You're a Knight of Prospect.
Yes.
Yes, you're Vil Tharalandi of the Knights of Prospect. And you have formally invited me to Tower Town to parlay about the unity of the elves.
I actually was more thinking that I may take you to Tower Town forcefully. In fact, it was not really a cordial invitation at all.
No force is required. I have accepted this parlay, and in the name of our ancestors, he's now invoking your ancestors.
No.
In the name of our ancestors, I accept peaceful parlay with your leadership.
This is no parlay. I'm okay. I take my rope. It's off Tanatar's ankle, and I'm going to bind Tanatar's hands. Tanatar, I didn't wish to do this. This was not I was hoping you would be some help to me, but it was really inappropriate of you to invoke my ancestors.
Wait a minute. I am here to help.
This is how it has to go. Yep.
On behalf of Yava's Rangers, I am here to save this town. I'm pretty sure those people up on the hill poisoned this place.
Yes, I believe they did as well.
And yet here you are binding my hands instead of stopping them. When all I want to do is help Yava bring priests to the realm.
I was not prepared for a parlay today.
And yet here we are parlaying.
Please stop saying we're parlaying. I did not mean to parlay you.
I've invoked the name of our ancestors.
Please stop invoking. Please excuse me. It was inappropriate of me to become emotional. You are a prisoner of mine that I am taking back to Tower Town, and we can discuss the invoking that you have done on the way.
Hazel, do you see what's happening with Phil? I mean, do you see what's happening with Phil?
She looks real upset.
That's
people
very
here
unlike
do
Phil.
not like temple massages.
Yeah,
just keep trying.
To a person, they hate it. They think they're dreaming because like a beaver and a fish are trying to convince them that everything's fine. It's a hard day for the people of Belle Plaine. And yeah, you look up and you see Vil and an elf wearing essentially a hazmat suit getting into you don't know if it's a friendly discourse or an active argument, but eventually Vil ties him up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I feel like if Vil ever tried to flirt, this is what it would look like.
I mean, true. I think either way we should help.
Probably, but can we step on the land?
Are they close to the water?
If you hop from building to building, yeah, it's a couple buildings over to get to this tree.
Buildings?
I'm going to yell back to these two. Perhaps we should regather outside the town.
Or Hazel, what if you and I share powers again, and I become a bird with you?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, Winnie, the last time you and Hazel shared powers, it was a rather transformative experience for you. You got to experience, like, your senses worked better and all of this. So yeah, you want to do that again. So
we'd also maybe be able to pull the people as like birds into the water without touching the ground.
A distinct possibility. So roll 2d6 plus Constitution to form an unbreakable bond with Hazel.
Both of us?
Oh, just Winnie.
Oh, all right.
10.
Well, I'll be darned. So here's how unbreakable bond works. Your hit points and the hit points of Hazel become a single shared pool. All non-magical skills become pooled, meaning you can use theirs, they can use yours. And if one of the two of you uses hack and slash or volley against an enemy, the other gets a free attack against them. So, yeah, the two of them, Vil, you notice kind of stare at each other like very meaningfully, and they're what could best be described as a strange magnetic disruption happens. And all of a sudden...
I think this is the tension that Hazel mentioned earlier. I'm noticing it.
Indeed. So all of you are now... So the three of you are on the outskirts of town. Winnie and Hazel are incredibly simpatico in all matters. And there is a tied-up Ranger of Yava kind of sitting in a pile next to all of you.
Yes.
Who is, you have not like gagged him, but you have told him repeatedly to like not keep spouting his like pro-Yava nonsense right now, and he is just barely doing that.
Yes. Hazel, Wanda, this is my prisoner, Tanatar Templeton.
Tanatar Templeton of Yava's Rangers.
Yeah.
Well met.
Doesn't matter whose ranger he is a part of. The point is, he is my prisoner. No one has parlayed, and the rest we will discuss on the journey back after we have saved this village.
He turns to you, Hazel. I saw a flash of recognition in your eyes when I said Yava.
We've met. I mean, we talked once. It was we were fighting. There was sparks. You could say fireworks. She probably doesn't even remember me. It's not a big deal.
Fireworks. Was Chauncey there? That's I keep telling him he needs to be more subtle.
So you have this prisoner. You have half a dozen now awake people standing in waist-deep water. And you have a cluster of elves on a hill about to do some kind of magical ritual.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the top priority is probably stopping this ritual from reaching the next phase.
Right. Yep. Yep. We'll talk about Yava later.
I would be more than happy to speak about Yava and her mission of unity very soon.
Why don't we split up? Vil, you and Tanatar can go up and see if you can stop the ritual, and Hazel and I can try to pull as many people into the river as we can.
Yes, I'm happy to keep my prisoner with me. That sounds like a fine plan, Wanda.
And he can help you.
Yes, well, he will have to help me because I'm in charge.
It looks like he's pretty eager to help you.
If you unbind my hands, I'd be more than happy to assist in the cause. Our paths align at this moment.
Unbinded. I peck his hands unbinded.
Thank you.
That was okay with me as well, because you seem to have come to your senses about cooperating.
Right. Nothing but cooperation. He starts taking off like all this protective clothing, and he draws a pair of long knives from he's got like holsters. He's got these long knives. All right. Will we be murdering?
I think so. Yes, murder. Hazel, Wanda, does that sound appropriate?
We're also rescuing, so I think we're drawing even.
That sounds right.
Perhaps maybe we can start with a sort of conversation and kind of move to murder as required.
Yeah, don't jump to murder. Also, why are you calling it murder? We're fighting. We're not just sneaking up on people.
Yes, sorry. Battle.
Battle. Yes, battle. Battle it is. That
if it comes to battle, we will battle.
Before I was a ranger, I was an assassin for a living. Yava straightened me right out, put me on a path that made all the sense in the world.
You were an assassin?
Yes.
Before you were a ranger?
Yes.
Who did...
Vil, isn't that your thing?
We don't need to get into personal histories at this moment. Why don't we... Who did you work for?
Is there anyone in particular you want him to have not worked for?
Kent.
All right, roll 2d6.
I bet Kent's a jerk.
Seven.
Thankfully, he did not. He mentions a society of essentially fallen elven assassins that work out of the eastern part of the continent in the city of Sentinel. Apparently, he went to the Catavian Regency and was essentially a noble assassin and killed a lot of important people, apparently, which is a whole game up there. And yeah, then Yava showed him the error of his ways and that he should be focusing on the unity of peoples, not killing them for money. And now here he is as a ranger.
How lucky for you that you had someone to show you that.
Quite. All right. Glorious battle indeed. I'm following your lead as your prisoner / person that we are actively parlaying with together.
Yes.
All
okay.
Right.
All right. But we approach the Green Bridge.
You approach, and so they are going to spot you. No doubt about it. They have a giant tower. So it's one of those things where someone on the tower notices you and is about to kind of call down to someone. Is there anything you want to do in that moment, or do you want to see what happens?
Let's see what happens. We said we weren't going to jump to battle, so I resist the urge to draw my bow.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, I look to Hazel and I go, all right, let's go grabbing people and fly off.
And so are both of you turning into what kind of birds?
I'm going to go peregrine falcon.
I think that's really the only option.
Yeah, they're small but mighty, and they work well together. So yeah, you are going to start pulling people kind of into the water. You are essentially the insurance plan in case Vil and Tanatar fail. So the two of you start kind of diving through the air and grabbing people, or like getting rope and securing people and then like dragging. Like it's a whole situation here in which a pair of these poor people in this lake, after receiving like a therapeutic massage from a beaver and being spoken to comfortingly by a fishwoman, they are now watching a pair of birds assist in the saving of the town. This will be a story for generations. Vil, you and Tanatar are making your way up the hill when a elf, tall, wearing armor, like heavy armor, walks down. It's she kind of raises a hand. Oh, not a step further. I'm Lorsan of the Green Bridge. We are in the middle of something.
Lorsan, we know what you're in the middle of, and in the name of the Knights of Prospect, we request that you stand down.
The Knights of Prospect, eh? All right. Vil, your choice. Do you want to try to convince her, or do you want to try to intimidate her?
I think it's best for everyone if we go with intimidation.
All right. I will give you a +1 because the Knights of Prospect is a name that means something around here. 2d6 plus Constitution +1.
Can I help too? Oh, can I use my new bard powers and sing a song?
Absolutely. So you don't even need to roll. So long as we hear the song, Vil gets to add +1 on top of this as well.
Go Vil, go Vil, go Vil, go Vil.
I harmonize to add volume because we are in the town and we want it to carry up into the hill.
It carries. We can absolutely hear it. It's pretty heartening at this point.
I feel empowered.
Indeed, the serene music of the great mountain kind of flows through the land. And Vil, 2d6 plus your constitution plus 2. Tell me what you get.
All right. 8.
All right. How do we want to do this? Okay, I got it. So Lorsan kind of looks at the town and sees a pair of singing birds, dragging people with ropes into the lake, and it's a whole thing. And then she looks at you, with all, you're kind of with the countenance of a knight. And immediately next to you is a guy dressed all in black with wide eyes and knives. Well, now that some of the town is awake, how about this? I'll duel you for it. I've always wanted to duel a knight. Yes. We shall duel.
You want to duel with me?
I want to duel with you. And if I win, then what's going on down there stops. You put all of those poor unfortunate people back in the town so that they can go to sleep and we can complete the ritual. If I win, well, we will scatter to the winds and we will find some other town to do our divine business.
You will find some other town to do this to? If I win, that doesn't sound like terms I should agree to, Lorsan.
I'm being very generous offering terms at all.
How do you find that generous? We are prepared to go into battle with your small group here, and I just think you should trust me that it'll be no challenge for us.
Knight of Prospect indeed. Fine. Beat me in a duel, and we will find something else to do with our significant energies aside from awaken the energies of towns. Fine. Yes, fine.
All right, then. What is it that you're doing here? Tell me that first.
These foolish humans built a town on a ley line. If we put them all to sleep and then use ritual magic to begin pulling energy from the ley line, it will create an etheric fountain. And then we can grow a forest here, which is what should be here, frankly. We are the Green Bridge, and we are bringing the world back. Too many humans. She leans in and whispers to the both of you.
I'm a knight of Prospect, Lorsan. I don't agree with your methods. These humans are living peacefully here.
Well, if you are sure of your convictions, then I'm sure they will protect you. She draws a saber and gets into a battle stance.
I draw my hunting knife.
All right, let's duel. Vil, what do you want to do?
What's the layout of the land here? Is it just the two of us and Earth?
Yep, it's the two of you kind of on a hillside. Tanatar is standing right behind you with a pair of knives. There's that elf in the tower up there has like a bow out, but he's not training it on you. And that's the only other elf you see. You figure the rest of them are involved in the ritual. So really it's almost like the two of you are dueling. Tanatar's your second, and that elf in the tower is her second.
All right, I'd like to duel honorably.
Fair enough. So that's hack and slash. You're going at Lorsan with your hunting knife. So
Yes.
you can roll 2d6 plus strength.
Go Veil, go Veil, go Veil, go
Go
Veil.
Veil.
9.
Okay. Do your damage, and she will do damage to you.
What is the damage with my hunting knife?
1d6.
Oh, beautiful. I'm usually on a bow.
Yeah, bow does more damage, but you're fairly decent with a knife.
Yeah, 5 points of damage.
Okay, and she does 4 to you.
All right.
So it's this big kind of wild exchange. You know, this hunting knife of yours you use for skinning things, you use for, fletching arrows. Very rarely are you in a position where you're actually using it to defend yourself. And Lorsan's just coming at you with, these kind of big, broad swipes of the sword and backing you up, and you cross blades a number of times and get close, and kind of blood's drawn from either side. What do you want to do this time around?
So I'll be honest here. I haven't done much dueling. What are the rules? Are there any rules?
Technically, you didn't set any. Lorsan just drew a sword on you.
All right. Well, yeah, I've been using my hunting knife to kind of match kind, but we didn't specify only one weapon. So I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to try to get a little distance between us so I can take a shot.
Sure. Sounds like a volley to me. 2d6 plus your volley. That's 2d6 plus dexterity.
Oh. 4.
So she, you start backing up, and you kind of get your knife back, you draw your bow, and like an arrow just kind of forms in your hand as they do now. And Lorsan knows what's going on and ends up just essentially charging forward, spearing you through, across the middle, and tackling you. And now the two of you are kind of rolling down the hill together. You take 3 damage for being tackled to the ground. And now you both kind of scramble up. You're both kind of there and facing each other. What do you want to do?
Is there a tree around?
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll into the tree close by. So I seem to disappear into the tree, and I will get a farther shot with my bow in another tree nearby.
You do. You kind of tumble backwards, and Lorsan kind of pulls up because you're about to both crash into the tree. But you do, and the tree just kind of absorbs you, and you vanish.
Yes.
And then Lorsan kind of straightens up.
I'd like to appear in a tree behind her.
You do. Let's go back about 150 years. Lorsan is sitting across a fire from her father. Lorsan, I want you to listen to me. This is the most important thing. Do what you think is right. Do what you think is right for our people. Do what you think is right for all time. And Lorsan kind of looks up at her father and says, well, how do I know what right is, father? Isn't right relative? And Lorsan's father nods. Aye, it is relative, sure. Follow your own heart, you follow your own compass. But there is only one time where right is absolute. If you ever find yourself across the battle line from a forest revenant, you are wrong. And she kind of nods. Okay. Okay. Yes, father, I will. Vil, take your shot. 2d6 plus dexterity and +1 because you are behind her.
14.
She has a moment of understanding. She straightens up and turns around just as an arrow hits her in the shoulder. Ah! She looks at you, and Lorsan knows what you are. She throws her sword to the ground and sprints up into the camp, screaming in Old Elvish, "Stop the ritual."
That should do it.
Tanatar is looking at you. I've been invited to parley by a forest revenant.
No,
Truly,
Tanatar.
Yava's guidance is pure and sustainable.
You are the prisoner of a forest revenant. You will accompany back to Tower Town. And Hazel, Wanda, our work here is finished.
It is. But almost. There is the issue of purging the ground from this magical poison that they eventually put into it, which takes a significant amount of time and a remarkable amount of rhyming between Hazel and the earth.
I help because I can talk with the earth.
Yeah, it's true.
I add some rhymes.
This one's a character, I tell you.
A pair of peregrine falcons are kind of arcing around the town
on the town. Yeah.
And I encourage them to use the sound, which is the water closest by us,
so they don't drown.
The ground. Yep.
And eventually the brown ground allows the poison to seep down, and all of the frowns of the people of the town go away as they wake up. And what rapidly happens is you become like a rescue mission. You are, essentially Hazel, you are trying, actually Hazel and Winnie are now like literally begging the water to spring from the wells, and the people of Belle Plaine eat and drink and thank you all tremendously. The three of you, plus Tanatar, whose hands are tied behind his back,
Yes.
then begin the long walk back to Tower Town, and we'll pick it up right there.
Is Tanatar with us?
Yep.
Yes.
I think I can wash these fish scales off.
You still
No longer
smell
worried
great.
about. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very fishy. Speaking of fishy, Tanatar, I just wanted to get one thing straight. I don't agree with what Yava is doing. Even though she has beautiful cheekbones.
Yes, that much is undeniable.
Never met Yava.
Cut glass,
actually.
those cheekbones.
Oh. Well, she wants nothing but the best for this continent and the Riverlands, rest assured.
Debatable.
But don't you think that she's holding the interests of elves higher than anyone else?
Yes, but that's what's best for the Riverlands.
Listen, I'm an elf, and I appreciate any opportunity to be elevated. But I know a lot of songs, and I know a lot of songs about things that have happened in the past. And what I have recognized about these songs is that the bad ones are about stories where one person or group of people thought they were better and more deserving than others. And I think that there's so much more nuance to the world than that. And to be driven by one singular goal is admirable, but not wise.
Yeah.
Tanatar, you may have my rations. We only packed for 3.
Well, that's awfully kind of you, Vil.
I don't even need them. I just like cheese.
I'll keep my rations.
This is going to be a fun trip.
It's
And
not
we'll end
fun.
it right there.
He is a prisoner.
This is a prisoner of excitement. And yeah, we'll call it right there.
One of the feral cats has been sitting here for a while. So sorry if you can hear purring.
Oh, that is hardly a thing to apologize for.
You know,
Just the hum of the earth beneath
It's
us.
the hum of the grateful earth after you remove the poison from Bellplane.
The sound of the ground.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I love that we were Winnazel again.
Winnazel.
Soul bonding, very intimate, very intimate.
Very intimate. I feel like every time I come out of that, I just want to speak in a little bit of a southern accent.
It's contagious.
Just becomes a little bit a part of me. I made a bad vocal choice though. I don't know. I had been like, okay, Fish is gonna be like bubbly, like hi, and I was like, no, I'm gonna rip my throat out by going like this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Beautiful.
I'm excited. I got to play an NPC very close to myself in Vince the Squirrel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's very rare that I can speak in my own voice in these games.
Oh, John, I
He was
knew what
great.
was coming immediately.
Yeah,
I was so happy for it.
The second I heard the
for
name,
it.
I was like, yep.
All right, well, there it is.
We need to meet his mother Isabel at some point. I hear she's a saint.
She's a saint.
Everyone in the chat is calling this a parlay. There was no parlay in this episode. Not a one.
And there
No
won't
parlay.
be.
And there won't be.
No
There certainly
parlay. No,
won't be.
this is a prisoner.
Yes. You know, I really wanted to hit Tanatar over the head, you know, like I'm want to do, but after what happened with Raz, I was so worried.
Yeah, no, you got to be careful. People
gotta be
die that
careful.
way.
You could just kill people by just kind of whacking them, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you whack them with a stick with unknown magical properties, that's where the gamble thing really sets in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that was
Well,
involved.
you know what? We learn lessons every week. And speaking of learning lessons every week, audience, thank you so much, as always, for joining us. Whether you join us here on Twitch live every Saturday night at 8 o'clock here on 2MB Studios, or whether you join us on YouTube after the fact, or whether you join us via our podcast. Those are all terrific ways to join us. Thank you for choosing whichever one you did. As mentioned, we are live every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on 2MB Studios. If you have not yet liked and or subscribed to 2MB Studios, now would be a great time to do that.
Ooh.
Also, in other ways to support 2MB Studios news, there is a Patreon you can join to support 2MB Studios. They invest in making this channel great, and this channel is already pretty darn great because we have shows 7 days a week here, not just nights, but days. Everything from game shows to improv shows to live role-playing games like this, to a completely fictitious, amazing wrestling league with deep lore. Anything you want, you can find right here on 2MB Studios. Also, if you like role-playing games and watching, if you like role-playing games and learning how to run them, we have partnered with 3weeks.courses. That's the number 3weeks.courses. And it's a wonderful, wonderful organization. They do a number of classes, 3 weeks long. You can learn everything from personal finance to, in my case, because I teach one, learning how to use improv techniques in role-playing games like this. The only things that were written down, for instance, for this episode was that whole thing at the very beginning in which poor Tanatar walked into this town and fell asleep. Everything else was improvised. You could learn how to do that too. 3weeks.courses. All right, everybody, that is it. I believe there is a very exciting show at 10 o'clock tonight, which gives you enough time to get up, hydrate, stretch, crack your knuckles, and then sit right back down and watch some great comedy. We will see you then, everybody, and good night. Oh, and join our Discord. Okay, good night for real.
Good night.